Thank you for joining me again tonight for another Facebook Live. Tonight we're on video 2 of our leadership series. So tonight we want to talk about behaviors or things that we can sometimes confuse as true leadership. Now, this video is not intended in any way to dictate whether or not you're able to lead effectively or not. It is just a video of awareness of behaviors that we can sometimes mistake as leadership qualities. So, and not to say that people that have these behaviors or exhibit these behaviors cannot lead, but it's just to make you aware of your perception of what you may or may not perceive as leader or leadership. Okay, so as you join me tonight, please go ahead and like and share this video so that others on your timeline can join in the conversation with us as well. Also, guys, if you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section, and I'd love to interact with you after the video as well, guys. So let's get started. So tonight we're just addressing behaviors of that we notice in leaders. And remember last night, if you joined me, we talked about that leadership is just a matter of perception. It's just a matter of who's perceiving what leadership is, the way that they defined it. Because when you go and talk about a word such as broad as leaders or leadership, then you get a whole wide range of characteristics of what people believe leadership is. So tonight I just want to focus on a few behaviors that sometimes we confuse as leaders or leadership qualities or leadership characteristics. One of those being charisma. Now we know that charisma is that ability to really draw people in with your humor and just your natural ability to interact with people. And when people are charismatic, sometimes we can confuse that behavior as a person that has or possesses the ability to lead. So charisma, it's one of the behaviors that is often confused with a quality for leadership. Another one is one that seems most like a title more than a behavior, but a manager. And we see a lot of managers in positions of leadership or of authority. And the reason why I wanted to include management or managers here is sometimes we can think that because people are in a management position or they act as managers, that they are some form of leader. But a person that manages something just simply maintains what the leader has set in place. A manager has no vision for moving the purpose or the cause in either direction. So they have no vision. And we know that it's impossible to really lead something or lead a cause without a vision. So we know that leaders, part of their purpose is knowing what their vision is, what they're out to pursue. So this is something that we can often mistake as leaders or leadership those that are just managers, someone that's just there to maintain what the leader has already set in place. So, and managers can be good, and sometimes they can be mistaken for leaders, but they have no vision. So without the vision, there's nowhere to lead in that area of leadership. An oppressor, a person that oppresses other people. And we've seen this most often in those religious cults where there's a leader or an oppressor, because we call them leaders. We label them as leaders because it seems like that's what they're doing, but really they are oppressors. And sometimes oppressors can be mistaken as a leader or as leadership. So these are people that keep people oppressed and dependent on them for whatever their needs are or whatever the cause is. So what an oppressor does is to give you only part of something. They'll give you a partial resource or give you part of the information so that you continue to be dependent on them for those things that you need. So we know that we have oppressors that sometimes can be the head of the household. They give the family just enough to keep them in need of them, just to keep them bound and under their control. And so sometimes we can look at these people because they appear to be in a place of leadership, or we tend to look at them like some kind of god or something. But really, when you really take a look at it, they are oppressors. And oppressors, people who oppress others, can be mistaken for leaders. Another behavior that we can confuse for leadership are manipulators. And I know some time in life we have come across manipulators, because some of the biggest manipulators that I know are children. Young children, they are sometimes the biggest manipulators that we know. And they learn the behavior from us big children. So we manipulate in order to control what they do. So we find this a lot of times in leadership. You have people in a position of authority and they manipulate. That means someone who plays on your emotions to keep you under their control, or to continue to get what they want. So it's not about you at all, because a manipulator has no concern for you. At the end of the day, all a manipulator wants is what they can get out of it. It's all gain for them. So a manipulator, they're not concerned about what's best for you or to help you get to a certain place. It's all about what is best for them. And so if you see someone in a place of leadership where there is selfish intent or selfish gain, and it seems like they have the followers like a puppet on a string and play with their emotions, and these are manipulators. They're not leaders. Okay, so these are behaviors that we just confuse or perceive as being leadership or being leaders, guys. A person of control. Control person is someone that has the ability to influence others. to control them. They want to control how you think. They want to control the places you go. They want to control the people you interact with and the time you spend. Just control altogether. So it's almost like when you're under the authority of someone of control, that you're not able to make decisions. So we see a lot of workplaces sometimes who has people in authority, our bosses or administration or people in high ranks that have this type of behavior or nature, control. So it's like the people under their guidance is sometimes could be like on pins and needles, walking on eggshells, so to speak, because they want to control everything about the environment. And so it just has to be this way or no way. They don't want input from anyone else. And it's just like a dictatorship. They want to dictate everything. And when you recognize these behaviors or control, these are the areas where there is a high turnover rate. So when you see, say, a boss or someone in high position that has trouble keeping qualified workers, this is probably why. They're not really equipped to lead, but indeed they have a spirit or a behavior of control, and they've been given a position of authority. So we know that leadership is not at all about controlling anything. Leadership is about pursuing a purpose, or to have something that you are meant to pursue. That's what it's all about. It's not about the number of people you can have follow you, or the number of people that you can influence. It's about inspiring others and empowering others so that they too can live out their purpose and pursue whatever is in their area of expertise. Another behavior that we can mistake as leaders or a position of leadership are those that have power. We hear sometime it often said in our religious settings, oh, that was a powerful speech, or he spoke with so much power. So that's that perception of being strong and authoritative. Well, we know that having that power, that strength that so many people perceive as a place of authority can often be mistaken for leadership. Power is anything that has influence over something else. So we have that power, and we know we have that power, and we look for people that in our minds are weaker, so that we can have that big I image, I guess, little you. And this is the kind of the way we keep it. So a person in leadership or a position of power, that the people that they consider followers are beneath them. So that is not what leadership is. That is not what leadership does. And so we can often mistake that. You know, we can look at somebody as being so powerful that we minimize ourselves in order to keep them elevated at a specific level or status. All right, guys, so I shared with you tonight some behaviors that can be mistaken as leaders or as leadership quality. So I appreciate you joining me tonight. And tonight we'll finish with video 3 in our leadership series. All right, guys, y'all have a good night.